All right, let's talk about Russell Wilson. As going into today, I think Russell Wilson had to feel pretty good about keeping the starting job, right? Feels like it was his job to lose. Fields' last game wasn't terrible, but was kind of underwhelming in this one. So for Russell Wilson, he was coming into this game kind of hoping to not even make it a discussion, play really well, and just have people say, okay, yeah, you're clearly the guy here. So that's what he's hoping for. So did he do that? Well, let's get into it. I'm starting to do this new thing where I'm gonna start giving a number rating out of 10 for the player I'm evaluating at the end of the video. So if you want to see my grade on 1 through 10, you can stay tuned to the end of the video for that. Also, I should mention I have a movie channel. If you like movies, just search Jackson Kruger Movies. The link is in the description below. Just uploaded a couple of new movie reviews on there. So yeah, check that out if you're interested. But anyway, let's get into Russell Wilson's film. I want to start off with something like this because I think there's a bit of revisionist history, or maybe that's the wrong word. I think the history of Russell Wilson doesn't exactly get told correctly over the years. For someone like Wilson, I feel like people act like all he was good at was just like the scrambling, the throwing downfield stuff. When he was at his best, he was an elite game manager as well. So let's talk about some game manager plays. Something like this. Simple play, the goal is to hit the receiver in motion in the flat towards the top of the screen. And you're going to see Wilson do a pretty good job at it. Again, it's only going to get so open, but he gets the ball over there quickly enough to get the completion. Like I said, was only going to get you so much right there. The Bills had that pretty well covered, but still, you can only judge a quarterback based on how well they're running the play they're supposed to run. Football is a team sport. Wilson doing, I would say, a pretty good job on a play like this to, make something happen. Like this one's another one. It's, again, going to be kind of a similar thing. These are simple plays, right? I'm not trying to say that these are difficult plays necessarily, but this one's a cover 2 zone. You have your 2 receivers closest towards the sideline run deeper routes, and then you're going to have Pat Freiermuth block, and he's going to go underneath. That's the way this is going to work. And when it begins, you're going to see that, this play working as designed, actually working pretty well as designed. But what I like about this from Wilson is you're seeing a real sense of urgency with him, right? You look at him right now, he already is in the throwing motion. He's trying to get the ball there. That's what he does. He's giving his team as good of a chance as possible to get this first down. Didn't quite work out, but, if they were a little, maybe better field position, they would have maybe gone for it on 4th down, right? You at least gave yourself that option here. I think they felt it was too close to their own end zone, but still. It's less about the result of the play itself and more about what that means from Wilson doing it. These are good things that will be positive. This next play, not so much. Didn't love this play, if I'm being honest, by Wilson. So, the way this play is designed to work, the Steelers are going to have a play action on this one. And it looks like the Bills are blitzing anyway, so there could be some pressure. So when this play begins, that is essentially what happens. You see Wilson knows he's under pressure right here. Also knows he has one-on-one matchups down the field. Would love to get himself a little bit of extra time to see if he can make something happen. But here, he really just steps up in the pocket and kind of just steps into pressure right there. It wasn't a great job by Wilson, someone who's usually known for being pretty good at being able to get around pressure, not so much on this one. So that's something that, you don't love to see. You also had something like this, which might be a good play to showcase some of the issues Wilson could be in this year. And it's some of the issues that he had in the previous years with Denver is, I think a lot of people really don't fully realize how much of an issue it can be when you don't have a great receiving core or a great offensive line, or in this case, in my opinion, both. Not to say that they don't have pieces, a lot of young guys on the offensive line, though, so you assume that there's going to be some growing pains, and I do feel like the receiving core could use some depth, in my opinion. So I do wonder how many of these types of plays, whoever the starting quarterback is, which it seems like it'll be Wilson, there could be some issues for Wilson. Like, for example, play you see on the screen, simple enough how it could work, right? Really, that curl route, getting into a gap in coverage is probably the one that's going to get open. Wilson takes the snap, and it's kind of right here when you would kind of make the decision if you want to throw it here. You could throw it here. It's definitely a bit of a gamble if you do decide to throw it in this direction. Like, it's not wide open or anything because there are players further deep. But, I could see him making this throw. I don't think it would be a bad decision necessarily. But for Wilson, he might have to not do what he's done in previous years of when his first read isn't open, try to scramble out and make something else happen because he's already under pressure, basically. You see that Wilson ends up getting tackled, and that's not good. So you could certainly sit here and say, well, he should have gotten rid of the ball earlier. But I do wonder if, again, sorry Steelers fans, I think this isn't a great supporting cast. I do wonder if this is going to make him have to make tougher decisions than he's otherwise used to. And for Wilson, maybe the strategy will be try to get rid of the ball earlier. Sure, it could result in more interceptions, more bad plays, but that might be the preferred strategy. I don't know. Or maybe this was just one bad play and these things will fix itself. It's who can say, right? For sure. A play like this, though, really kind of describes a lot of what we saw with Russell Wilson. So it's a bad situation, which is part of what happens. It's a 3rd down and 14 situation for the Steelers. So, okay, what are you going to do? There was a penalty. Like, you're in a tough spot. So the situation is simple for the Steelers. You have a receiver, might as well try, right? So you have a receiver run a route that's going to get past the 1st down marker, hopefully get into a gap in coverage. For Wilson, if you don't love what you see, no worries, just take the check down. So Wilson is going to look in that direction. He is going to, see if this is open, and it isn't. I mean, I don't think. Like, you could try and make this throw, but that's just such a dangerous throw. Really, the Bills have a better chance of catching that one than the Steelers do. It's a bad idea. Don't even take a chance, and Wilson's not going to. He's going to do the right thing. You're going to see him instead flip the ball to the halfback, who picks up, a good amount of yards, actually. He nearly got the 1st down, so that's why you take the check down, right? You never know, but the reality is that just wasn't a play that was really working in any significant way. And so it's like, for Wilson, he's doing his job. Like, there's only so much he can do in these situations. It's just, maybe you could say he could look somewhere else, but it's not anywhere else was open. This is probably the right idea. You want to get it to the check down quicker. So he did the right thing. It's just the situation. Something like this was interesting. I think this was good. The way it's going to work is it's kind of one of those plays that when you see it, you're like, why aren't you just doing this more often? Because you have George Pickens on a one-on-one matchup on the outside. Like, I don't know, maybe take the chance here. Seems like a good idea. So they're finally going to do it. Wilson's going to take the snap, run a play action, and while he's getting hit, fires it towards Pickens. And you see Pickens is not open, but again, Pickens will tell you, just put the ball in his area. He might be able to make a play. So that's what Wilson is doing here. And the throw is, I would say, a touch too far to the sideline. Still pretty close, though. You're giving your receiver a chance. It was a little bit too closer towards the sideline. But, experiencing this stuff in real, in game time, getting this down, to me, it makes sense, and it was a smart, smart decision, good throw, just not a great one. So yeah, those are most of my thoughts on Wilson. The way I'm kind of viewing this new number rating system is, I'm going to say a 6 out of 10 is just like a solid, you did nothing right, or excuse me, not you did nothing right, you did nothing really wrong, you kind of just ran the offense, but didn't do anything above and beyond. That's kind of how I'm measuring it, and to me, that's where I would put Russell Wilson's performance. It was a 6 out of 10. He was fine. It wasn't a disaster. He made some plays that were there for him. Didn't really do anything else above and beyond that, though. So I'm going to go a 6 out of 10. But what would you go with? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.